Around 9,000 years ago, beyond the Pillars of Heracles existed a civilization protected by the god Poseidon. Poseidon made his son Atlas king of the islands, from which the islands and the sea surrounding it took the name Atlantis and the Atlantic. Atlantis was larger than Libya and Asia Minor put together and was made up of concentric islands separated by wide moats and linked by a canal that penetrated to the center. The lush islands contained gold, silver and other precious metals and supported an abundance of rare, exotic wildlife. There was a great capital city on the central island. Its culture was advanced, compared to the ancient Greeks at least, and it had a constitution similar to the one outlined in Plato's Republic. But as the Atlanteans grew powerful, their ethics declined. They became greedy, petty, and morally bankrupt. Their armies eventually conquered Africa as far as Egypt and Europe as far as Tyrrhenia, before being driven back by an alliance led by ancient Athens. The gods became angry with Atlanteans because the people had lost their way and turned to immoral pursuits. As punishment, the gods sent one terrible night of fire and earthquake that caused Atlantis to sink into the ocean. This was a story written by the Greek philosopher Plato in the dialogues Timaeus and Critias around 360 BC. Plato's Critias said he heard the story of Atlantis from his grandfather, who had heard it from the Athenian statesman Solon, who lived 300 years before Plato's time, who had learned it from an Egyptian priest, who said it had happened 9,000 years before that. Yeah, this really went into a game of telephone real quickly. There are many theories about where Atlantis was, in the Mediterranean, off the coast of Spain, even under what is now Antarctica. A possibility on where the story might have been based on is a massive volcanic eruption around 360 years ago. It devastated the island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea near Greece. At the time, a highly advanced society of Minoans lived in Santorini. The Minoan civilization disappeared suddenly at about the same time as the volcanic eruption. But there's also the possibility that Atlantis was all a creation of Plato. His intent in telling it seems to have been to boost his ideas of an ideal society, using stories of ancient victory and calamity to call to mind more recent events such as Athens' disastrous invasion of Sicily in 413 BC. So Plato probably created the story of Atlantis to convey some of his philosophical theories, as Aristotle would make a joke later about Plato's ability to conjure nations out of thin air and then destroy them. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.